next we have Hubble Contacts. They've been doing a lot of video on social, predominantly with Facebook and Instagram stories, and they've been having success. But they didn't want to rely on one channel, so they decided to test on TikTok, and they had some really good positive results. And that's why I'll introduce the Senior Marketing and Creative Director of Hubble, Dan Rosen. Hi, Dan. He's going to tell us all about it. Well, welcome, Dan. Where are you? Where are you coming from?
New York, my bedroom.
Are you right in the city?
I'm right. Yeah, I never left.
Yeah, right in the city. Well, good for you. I'm just outside, but I have been into the city to visit, so safely. So it's been
very brave.
There's movement going on. Well, I want to, there's a lot to cover here. So I want to let you get right to it. And this is definitely something that a lot of people have been interested in. So you can take it away, Dan.
Sure. Yeah. So, I guess a big thing that seems like everyone's discussing now is a media market mix. And like a lot of DTC companies, Hubble is very Facebook and Instagram leveraged. And no one ever wants to be in that situation, but for years it's still really consistently kind of the most efficient place to put our dollars. And over the years, we've tested all the major social channels, and as new channels come in, we always dip our toes, but basically I've seen limited success. And it never really made sense to double down or to invest nearly as much. And attribution was always quite difficult, as I'm sure everybody deals with that same situation. But yeah, so we were approached by TikTok a few months ago, and we're all fairly skeptical. I think mostly because of predictable reasons that the demo would skew too young, that there wouldn't be high credit card usage, that similar problems that we ran into when we ran on Snap are that it's mobile only, and so cross device conversions are more difficult to track, and there's often cannot play well with GA, and we're fairly last click focused, and so those are all things that were important to us. But we were still game, and we did an initial test, and that was, I think, maybe over 2 months ago, and yeah, we've seen pretty impressive results at first, and then have been able to consistently scale up these past few weeks. It's obviously nowhere close to where we are with Facebook and Instagram or Google, but it's definitely the most consistent of the new social media channels that we've seen, and we also feel confident about attribution. And that's really exciting. Because keep going, that I guess what we learned was that the demo is, and maybe this is possible due to some of the politics that have been going on recently, but and the awareness about the platform that spread, but the demo is much better for us than we thought, and it just seems like at this point, and I'm sure just continuing going forward, that everyone's just going to be there, and it will continue to grow. The ads manager itself is, I would say, kind of an almost carbon copy of Facebook, which made the lift quite easy, and yeah, so adding interest, adding lookalikes, all those things, it was fairly easy to use, which was great. And ads wise, we were able to kind of take initially some of what worked on stories for us, and then repurpose those, and that's what we initially saw success with. And now that we kind of feel more confident, we're starting to produce more TikTok specific creatives And as I'm sure many of you have seen on Facebook and Instagram, user-generated style content works really well, and then even more so in TikTok. Things that really work with kind of the very quick cut, shot with an iPhone, cheeky or kind of within the native language of TikTok, which is very convenient for me as the creative director because I've been working from home. So I don't have a studio like I did, or it's way more complicated. So there's a lot I can just kind of do at home or farm out to people, and it makes creating new stuff quite easy or more straightforward.
Hey, so I want to just jump in because I'd love to see let's show some of the examples of your videos that you've been doing, Dan.
Yeah, do you guys have that? Or
Yep,
okay.
Brian, can we show the first one? And Dan, let's look at it, and then Dan, you can kind of walk us through the thought process behind it.
Sure, yeah. I can see the miracle.
So tell us about that. Now, was that created specifically for TikTok, or was that something that you took from Facebook?
Yeah, that was actually specifically from TikTok. There are elements of that, of like components that we've used for other ads, but yeah, I think the font and the style of the graphics is kind of mimicking a popular kind of a popular way of displaying text on TikTok. The quick editing, the pace. Most of those shots I think were shot with a phone. The kind of like slight hip hop style music, all that kind of works a little bit gross up top or something to get your attention, which we've seen works on Facebook and Instagram, but definitely kind of something quite literally eye-catching up front.
Can you walk us through a little bit? Because as you said, you weren't sure about TikTok. They approached you, and then you were finding surprisingly, you were reaching a different audience, but also you were finding some success. How did you first sort of dip your toes in and get to that point? Walk us through that a little bit in terms of anyone else who's interested in trying out TikTok. What's a great way to get started?
I think you can set up an ad account yourself and apply, although some of it may still be in beta. So, and I don't know too much of it just because this is our personal experience and they reach out to us. But I think you're able to set up an ad account pretty similar to Facebook, and kind of get started and upload your ads. And a few they don't yet have exclusion audiences, which is I think something down the pipe, hopefully for them, which would be helpful. So we're just not wasting money on advertising to existing or canceled customers. But other than that, if you're at all familiar with other social media advertising backends, then it should be fairly intuitive, which is great. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure if there might be something that you need to contact them that I just haven't looked into, because we were fortunate enough that they reached out to us.
Yeah. Well, let's look at another. Ryan, can you show us in the next video? Close up to the eyes. That's something I always have to turn away from.
I apologize for this would be a trigger warning. But actually, for contact lens wearers, that's it's kind of pretty normal, so it's nothing surprising. And it stands out in a way, but also is attractive because I think people kind of recognize their experience, and a lot of what's some of the most popular channels are things like people playing with goo, or people pimple popping, or those kind of types of videos are quite popular. And I think
Those cringe-worthy moments.
yeah, that you kind of can't look away. So we're playing with that. This one's kind of a more example of us leaning into being a little sillier, trying to not seem like so much of an ad. We're all obviously always trying to do that, but this is yeah, this one, if you want to play it. Yeah, so that's again, these are mind-numbingly dumb ads, but they're also, after 4 years of people unboxing contacts, you start to try new things. But I think also specifically TikTok lends itself to that kind of level of play, and the way the algorithm also works is that it's about view completion. So if people keep watching something, things that kind of that loop really well work. So that's kind of what I was trying to figure out here. This is our most successful ad on TikTok.
Here's a hack to get affordable contact lenses. Step 1, get 30 contacts for $1 at Hubble. Step 2, continue getting affordable contact lenses right to your door. Step 3, scroll through TikTok until it's time to replace your contact.
Now, is she a influencer or a model?
No, that's actually our CX manager, who I
oh, really?
who I harangued into.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great, and she also has like her own social media presence. So I was kind of like, hey, instead of tracking down an influencer and then getting them product and going back and forth, if you wanna do something. So that was really cool of her. And so this was inspired. The kind of hack video is super common on TikTok. It's like, that's a format that you see a lot. So this one was the most like I took an exact kind of TikTok format and tried to adapt to Hubble. And this one we also posted organically on our TikTok, and then boosted it from there. So that's also another option that TikTok gives you, which is something we're trying out, testing whether boosting kind of organic posts works more efficiently than uploading it through the ads manager.
Well, talking about testing, let's bring in, so we do have an expert now that we're going to bring in, Moody Nashawaty. Am I saying that correct, Moody?
Hey, Moody Nashawaty. Close.
Nashawaty.
Almost
Okay.
there.
Well, thank you. Sorry about that. Well, he's the Chief Strategy Officer and partner at MuteSix. Okay, got it all out. It's the end of the a lot of talking. So anyway, he is our expert on TikTok, as well as many other social channels, but we're specifically obviously with TikTok. So Moody, talk first before, well, let me introduce you guys that you haven't met yet. Moody, Dan, Moody.
Hey.
And, so Dan has some questions for you, just as then we'll open it up for everyone else too. So you guys get ready with your questions as well if you have any TikTok questions for Moody or for Dan. But Moody, tell us just quickly about what you do with TikTok, and then we'll get right to the questions.
Sure. So we do a lot of things. We try to make paid media work just as much as Dan here, across a number of accounts. And we do a bunch of paid advertising. We also do a bunch of seeding and influencer relationships and partnerships to push both organic demand for our D2C clients, and then also leveraging that content into paid opportunities as well. So very familiar with all of the ad strategies Dan just showed us here. I love that last ad because I'm listening to that audio and I'm just laughing. Like, that is just so much fun, and is similar to our strategy in the sense where we create like key audio and have other people who we work with, like other influencers or TikTok creators, also use the same audio component in their creative with product as well, which has been a key one for us.
Okay.
Great. Thanks.
Actually, before I let you, I just have a question. Does that help get by passing along that audio? Why is that important to do? How does that help you guys?
So one thing it does, it creates a track where people can build creative to, instead of kind of going rogue or trying to do more of an avant-garde style, you can give them this audio piece. And that's very similar to TikTok trends in general, is that if you spend an hour or two on the platform, you'll start to see common themes with audio tracks where people either take, top 40 songs that are currently trending, or there's just a bunch of I mean, you saw with some of the latest trends, just a certain audio clip, and then other people use that audio clip to create new content. And so if you create your own seed audio clip, then other people can also do that. And you as an advertiser can go and find creators to do that to your track. And then there's so much more control versus giving your products to TikTok creators and just having them kind of wing it, which has been less performing in general, but has also allowed for rare opportunities of just amazing creativity from some of our creators as well.
Okay, well, this is Dan's time, so not to jump in on you.
Yeah, I guess some of the questions that I had were, we've seen creative fatigue a lot more quickly on TikTok than we do in other platforms. Is that something you've seen as well?
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely. And I've been looking at a lot of the type of content you've been running. I personally am on TikTok quite a bit. I've been hit with Hubble contacts.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
So no, I mean, I love it because it's inspiring. And it's just I think that you have to have a solid rotation and framework and process for just developing lots of content constantly. And that's kind of the job of our influencer team, is like a lot of reach outs and seeding product and getting the creative we need to rotate out for TikTok. It's sad to see like how fast creative just runs through on TikTok, but yeah, very similar.
On Facebook it could be 6 months you can have a really great, but
yeah.
But
and I noticed too, like your strategy has been seeding the $1 like trial offer, which I see that across all of your platforms too. Like on Facebook, I looked at your ads as well. And I wonder, like, is there more things you can pull into, like, because UGC is like 90% of it, but maybe pulling in like press quotes or just kind of like figuring out what other sort of objections people have in the funnel that you can maybe build content around as well. Because I know that one, the trial offer seems to be like the main strategy and driver for conversions for you guys.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of something we found just ends up connecting most out of all our value props. Have you seen on TikTok that stuff like press or customer reviews, things like that, which the first one incorporated some customer reviews as well. But have you seen that connects or people respond to that?
Not as like the opening hook, but if it's like a mashup video, then you can bring it in later, and that just helps bring showmanship and sales into the content. So we've done that quite a bit and found success with it. So yeah, that's kind of how we're thinking. And then we do a lot of remarketing strategies as well, where maybe we have our top of funnel drivers, but if people are in the consideration phase, we'll throw more of those those like press review slideshows or any sort of like maybe a satisfaction guarantee or in just lower funnel objections as well.
Got it. Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely try something like that. Since we have to come up with lots of new creative all the time.
Yeah, right.
The other question was LTV stuff. It's only been like a month or so. So we don't really know exactly what the LTV of customers from TikTok will be. But one of the worries, which again comes back to kind of the presumption that it skews young, is that that LTV will suffer slightly, or that there'll be higher rates of credit card declines, that kind of stuff. Is that something you've seen or are worried about?
Yeah, LTV. So here's what's interesting and what we've tried and what we've found is a way to track a little bit better. So a couple of things. So first we'll get into LTV, but I actually have a really cool trick for using Facebook to track cross device and get a better snapshot of what's happening with people on TikTok. But first, so LTV is interesting. I think so. Like if I was standing from your point of view, because I mean, obviously LTV is like, it really depends on, products, and so much of the business goals of any brand. In your case, I think you have something really, really interesting. You can win the younger demo. In the LTV for a contact wearer, I mean, look, people who wear contacts, either they're going to LASIK or they have to wear contacts for the rest of their lives. I personally have contacts in my eyes right now. And, I've been using the same brand and I buy from the same, supplier since, I don't know, it's been 10 years now. So like, if you take a play out of what Apple did with laptops to college students and making things really affordable, I think you have a chance to really win the younger demo. That being said, you guys have your data and you know what converts and how long people stay on. So who's to say what you can possibly do with that? But to me, it's a demo. It's a demo issue. It's not really a platform issue. I don't think that the younger demo acts differently from a buying behavior standpoint or brand loyalty standpoint on TikTok versus like Facebook. And then the second part is you can actually track people coming in through. So if you go to Facebook Analytics, the Facebook Analytics tool, you can essentially create a filter of all, like basically capture UTM source keywords off of your TikTok traffic. And you can start to track even non-purchasers, but just everybody who comes in and is captured by the pixel in your Facebook Analytics. And that could, you'll see actually more purchase conversions because Facebook's tracking cross device. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, you'll be able to analyze, what they essentially do for you a bit more than you can just on TikTok in their platform. Because, until they really roll out their desktop platform and that becomes a piece of user behavior, like I don't think the cross-platform tracking capability is going to be there.
Well, before I actually want to let everyone else, we are running a little late here, so let's open it up. With Steve, do we have any questions for these guys?
I wanted to ask a little bit more about the key metrics that you're really looking for and aiming for on TikTok, and how it may or may not be different for some of the other platforms. Are there really key things that you're aiming at to engage, or is there a currency of TikTok that you're really trying to accentuate and optimize for?
I think like most channels, we're pretty conversion focused, and that's our goal, is to get people to get the 2 weeks box to start off. But I think also, and this is why we're starting to post more organically and plan and play around there to use it as kind of a brand moment, like we did a lot with Instagram starting up, and using that as a place to consistently post and engage in a demo that maybe hasn't heard of us yet or hasn't engaged with us a lot.
And I also noticed that your best performing TikTok ad was a full person with voice and personality, as opposed to some of the clever, which were good too. Some of the clever, visual jokes and puns, the close-ups of eyes. But I'm curious, Moody, would you say that that's really what comes through in TikTok best, is that personality, and to aim for that?
100%, because it's so, like, look, when we came to Facebook and Instagram, and we started to early on 4 years ago, when we started to really scale Facebook as a channel, we started doing a lot of video content because that's what was native to what was going viral on the platform. And now we're looking at TikTok, and if you spend a few hours, right, you'll notice what ads look like ads and what completely blend in. And in their best practice, what Hubble's doing is very much in line to what's going and what's trending in a person's newsfeed. And I'd say, like, if you looked at the behavior of what an active person is doing when they're looking at TikTok and spending time on TikTok, you're watching people get really entertained by content that they don't even follow, right? Instagram, Facebook, you're mostly watching people you've already curated and you've clicked the follow button on. So anytime you see a new piece of media that doesn't look familiar, you almost immediately know that it's an ad. Versus in TikTok, every post you're looking at is new content by somebody you don't follow, because that's the native choice of newsfeed. So it's very easy right now to create content or work with influencers to do paid relationships to create engaging content that really just looks super native to the platform and create, create either purchase intent or, brand loyalty in the sense and brand awareness for literally, it's so easy now versus like what Facebook and Instagram was maybe 3-5 years ago, or even today, with just the idea of what a newsfeed is to somebody versus these other platforms.
Is it fair to distinguish distinguish TikTok from some of the others by saying, say, an Instagram, which was always about beautiful images, Facebook referring people to things, is that these other platforms were about look at this, and TikTok is really a lot more about look at me?
Potentially. That's interesting.
I
think Instagram gets a lot of that too.
A truly more person-centric, people-centric.
Definitely. And I'd say it's more like it's video. It's 100% look at me doing something. And it's content oriented versus like Instagram is so much like vanity oriented, I think, about like, check out how cool I am. So I think that's like the major differences in behavior that we're seeing.
Before, I do want to ask one more question, because you're talking obviously about personalities, and TikTok, as you said, has its own personality as compared to Facebook. So when you're talking influencers, does one cross over to the other, or do you really need to specify? How do you choose that influencer for a particular channel?
Yeah, I mean, I think influencer choice always starts with like, what audience are you trying to target, and who are the influencers that audience is looking to. So that's when we work with influencers on TikTok, we're doing the same thing. One company that we work with closely on influencer is Bev. It's a canned wine, and maybe you've seen their ads. But we've tested all of the type of influencers on TikTok, and it's always moms who are into wine who are most, driving the most conversions and brand awareness that we can track back for Bev, versus the younger demo or any sort of direction you can go with that. So that reigns true, and then it's a lot about testing. TikTok influencer is like Instagram 2015. Like, there's still so much opportunity, and it's actually really easy to get a lot of people working with you, and then just seeding product. The easiest way you could do it, there's so many people on TikTok willing to work with you for just free product. I mean, that's an easy direction to go about it and be able to play around without, having to really, invest in it too much. So have a chance to learn before you really bring in the big bucks.
Great. Any more
Thanks,
questions?
guys. And thanks, Lisa.
I think we're pretty running a little over. So anyway, that was great, really great. And as I said earlier, people always ask me about TikTok, or they're curious, or some are starting it and some are just like, I want to know more. So that was great that you guys were able to do this for us today. So thank you.
Thanks.
And I think